All right. Well, that was fun. So I was just going to play the intro part of the of episode one in the background with no audio. Apparently, YouTube doesn't like that. That's totally fine. So we'll have the title screen for now, and that'll work out just as well. So let's go to it. So. Oh, and audio's bitrate is lower than the recommended. Cool. All right, that's better. All right, so streaming issues aside, we'll get back into the Mandalorian and everything. So we get to see. I want to know where he gets the replacement rocket. Where does the Marshal get the replacement rocket? Let me get my chat back here, and let me share the new link in the old stream. All right, so. Do that. Let's see. Yes, Reddit Gamer, it did go down. It was my fault. And that's all right. I just need to get my windows kind of back and organized here, so bear with me. Sorry about the delay. Hooray for playing with live, right? All right, so here we go. Got everything back up and going. Yes, we did go down. YouTube did not enjoy that I was playing. I was playing just the intro scene in the background with no audio. Apparently, that is against the rules, so noted. So we'll just have the title screen there, and that'll be fine. But yeah, as far as the rocket goes, I want to know where he got the replacement rocket, because he used it again in the Krat Dragon after using it to take out the mining raiders in the first scene. And if Mandalorians haven't been seen on Tatooine ever, except for Fett himself, it's not like they have a big market for rockets that are designed to go in a Mandalorian backpack. So I'm kind of curious where he got it. That's fine that he did. I'm happy to just say, yep, it happened, and move on. But it was very in your face, a little glaring as far as that goes. But it was very cool during the battle to see the acid get spit out. I don't think I wasn't expecting that anyway. I don't want to speak for what other people were expecting. I wasn't expecting the big acid. I thought maybe fire, but in true fashion, Jon Favreau destroys my expectations and replaces it with something better. So really enjoyed that, and watching Mando go full Drax on the Krat Dragon to take it out. Was pretty cool, since you couldn't penetrate the outer shell, just blow it up from the inside. Very cool. We get to see where the Marshal actually gets the armor too. So he gets it from some Jawas as he was going through, and managed to steal some very valuable crystals from the mining raiders, and one of the Mandalorian armor in exchange for it. So they were very happy to do that. So the question that I want to kind of dive into is, how did the Jawas come up with Boba Fett's armor? And that is it's obviously a great question to ask. Just rearranging my windows a little bit again here. Sorry. And I have a theory about that. So Mando is led by the Tusken Raiders to where the Krat Dragon lives, and he says it lives in an abandoned Sarlacc Pit. And the Marshal says, I didn't know there was any such thing as an abandoned Sarlacc Pit. Mando looks back and is like, well, there is if you eat the Sarlacc. So, Krat Dragon ate the Sarlacc that was in the pit. I think this is going to be a familiar Sarlacc Pit, because Boba Fett's armor is inside the belly of that Sarlacc, as we saw in Return of the Jedi. And since none of the books are actually canon anymore, that's where he has stayed from there on out. So we have Boba Fett's armor in the belly of the Sarlacc. Krat Dragon comes and eats the Sarlacc. I think maybe Krat Dragon didn't have a stomach or a taste for Mandalorian armor and spit it out, or just digested it, and that's gross, so I'll just let your imagination finish how that came out. But ultimately, we have some Mandalorian armor out of the belly of a Sarlacc, through, one way or another, a Krat Dragon, and into the hands of Jawas, who were scavengers and knew immediately what it is that they were looking at and scavenged it. So that is out in play. And then, of course, after they defeat the Krat Dragon, the Marshal does hand over the armor, as was their agreement. And Mando has Boba Fett's armor. Boba Fett's armor is in play, folks. We all kind of wondered last last season if that was going to happen, since we have exactly, one famous Mandalorian that's been there since the beginning of all of Star Wars. And yes, it is finally here. Super, super excited to see that. It's really cool to see a lot of the different pieces of just fanboy mythology coming together in this one episode here. So, see, YouTube is telling me my bit rate of audio is 0, so I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you throw down in the chat if you can hear me? That would be really great. Hopefully you can. But it's really cool to see so much Star Wars mythology into one episode. Excuse me. So obviously, you have the Fett armor that's there. You also have Mos Eisley and Mos Espa and Mos Peralta, which was referenced here. So you get to see all kind of 3 of the spaces that have always been there since the very beginning. You get to see things like the Krat Dragon, which was there at the beginning in just its bone form, so you get kind of an idea that it existed. We have the Jawas being scavengers and finding just the pieces that our heroes need, which of course is exactly what happened in A New Hope and how everything all started off. You have, obviously, the Fett armor is there, the reference to the Sarlacc and the Sarlacc Pit. You actually have the continuity of what happened to the Sarlacc that ate everybody in that battle is now here and answered. And even on top of that, some eagle-eyed fans would have noticed what the Marshal was riding as a bike. That is absolutely Anakin's pod racer engine that he is riding on. Just one of the engines without the bottom foil over it, and with a new coat of paint. It's looking a little red instead of blue, but the form factor and everything is so exact that that's got to be Anakin's engine from all the way back in Episode 1 of the Pod Racers. So certainly looking a little worse for wear. This is 60 to 80 years after that pod race, so that's to be expected, and just really super cool to be able to see all of these different pieces that are just kind of thrown in the background of Star Wars, or subtle points of Star Wars. In here again is subtle points and subtle nods, and just ways to kind of move the story forward and actually connect everything together, and even at the end, I was so excited with all the fanboyism that was thrown in. Very, very giddy. I was really excited that Jon Favreau was doing all of this and was just doing such a magnificent job. And then the credits roll, and we get to see, The Mandalorian, written by Jon Favreau, directed by Jon Favreau, produced by Jon Favreau. And for those of us that made movies when we were, like little kids, that's what our credits looked like. Like this episode right here, the live one that you are watching, is written by Steve and is produced by Steve and is directed by Steve, with a host of Steve, music by Steve, set layout by Steve, costume design by Steve, right? Like, that's what he did at the end of the episode. Everything was Jon Favreau's name all over it. It was just so much fun to watch and to be a part of, and seeing the journey that Favreau has actually made. He launched the MCU with Iron Man, and was arguably the best character, or one of the best characters in the film itself. It takes an awful lot to upstage Tony Stark, but I think Happy comes close, and of course continues that off into Spider-Man. And then of course he really launched The Mandalorian, and just so many different projects in between, and I am more and more and more of a fan of that man. The more work he does, the more I love everything about it. So, well done, Jon Favreau. Absolutely loved it. The Mandalorian is on his way somewhere. At the end of the episode, we'll find out what's going to happen next, but he has a new ally in the Marshal. Last season, all of the allies that he gained over the individual episodes all came together at the end. So I am very confident we have not seen the end of the Marshal. We will get something out of that. We will also get to see how the story unfolds with kind of the history of Boba Fett. Maybe we'll get to see how he acquired the armor, or what kind of his story was, or his signet, or any of that stuff was, and get some history of Boba Fett throughout the Mandalorian as well. I bet that we're going to see an awful lot more focusing on the child and some of his maybe developing powers as well. So child just kind of sat in the background for a bit of this one, being cute and adorable and not really contributing a whole lot this time, short of that cute and adorableness. I think after last season, they really had to go out of their way to point out, like, this story is about the Mandalorian, guys. Like, you've kind of lost focus with, cute, adorable Baby Yoda. So, so they've got that back on track, but I'm very confident that we'll see more of Baby Yoda's power and maybe have it develop a little bit, and maybe even steer Mando in the right direction as it goes on. But anyway, guys, that's what I've got. Lots of different Easter eggs and fun bits inside of here. I hope we've touched on most of them. Sorry about having to split the stream up. That's my bad. We'll watch a title screen next time and do that. But thanks for watching. If you have other insights or other things that we missed, let us know. Leave us a comment. Leave us a like if you enjoyed this type of thing. And we will see you guys next week when we talk about Episode 2. Stick with us. We're going to do live episodes the day after an episode airs. Each time it does, because I want to go through The Mandalorian. I am horribly obsessed. I know I'm not the only one. And let's have an awful lot of fun. Also subscribe. In addition to obviously talking about The Mandalorian, which is today's kick, we like to bring the magic of Disneyland to you, to families. So that includes bringing Disneyland home and making attractions and cooking food you normally see in the parks. I'd normally say helping you get there, but nobody's getting there right now during COVID season. But when you can, we're going to be there for that also. But you'll see an awful lot of different ways to enjoy the magic of Disney at home with your family. So subscribe, like the video, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Boom.